Hi, this is Helena Hart, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 things that kill a man's feelings of attraction and connection with a woman. This is a really important video because a lot of these things are really subtle, and I talk with so many women every week, and I see a lot of them accidentally slipping into doing some of these things, or even doing them with good intentions, like they're trying to build the attraction and connection with a man, and it's actually having the exact opposite effect. So hopefully this video will be helpful for you no matter where you're at in your love life. But before I get started, if you're new to my channel, click the button to subscribe to get all of my videos on how to attract the man and the relationship you want. So let's get started. The first thing that kills a man's feelings of attraction and connection with a woman is when she's always trying to be perfect all the time, or show a man how great she is, or show him that she's like a high value woman, and basically just always trying to be perfect. And this is something that can be easy to slip into, especially if you really like a guy or you're starting to develop some strong feelings for him. And, a man might admire you for being really smart and accomplished and always having the right thing to say, but he actually is going to fall in love with you for your quirks, those things that make you unique and set you apart from every other person on this planet. These are the things that you might perceive to be your flaws or imperfections, and it can be tempting to want to hide those things from others, but it's really those things that connect a man to you and make him fall in love. And I've talked about this in other videos, so I won't go into too much detail here, but it's not that it's wrong or bad to be really smart and accomplished and come across like you're really self-assured and have it all together sometimes. Those are all great things. You don't want to dim your light or squash those parts of yourself down, but when you're with a man, it's really important to, connect with all the different parts of yourself, even the parts that don't always feel so good, because it's those things that are gonna endear a man to you and make him fall in love. It's really, really important. So the second thing that kills a man's feelings of attraction and connection to you is something I call filling the space. Now you could think of this as leaning forward. It's a masculine energy quality. So filling the space could come out in all different kinds of ways. It could be filling the space verbally, always picking up the slack for men in conversations. If there's an awkward pause or silence, I can certainly feel myself wanting to do this a lot. Most women can relate to this. And a lot of my clients have said they just stopped doing this one thing and it really changed everything. Their man, who was really quiet and reserved, started really opening up once, they stopped filling that space and picking up the slack always in conversation. So filling the space verbally is something you want to try pulling back on a little bit. Also physically, next time you're with a man, try physically leaning back while keeping your heart open to him at the same time. If he's truly interested in you, he will instinctively feel compelled to come towards you. It's kind of a physical demonstration of how this energy exchange works. So as much as you can, try to catch yourself when you want to fill that space, either physically, verbally, even mentally and emotionally. Just try leaning back into your feminine energy, and that will make a huge difference. It will really, really make a man feel more attracted and connected to you. It's very important. So the third thing that kills a man's feelings of attraction and connection with you is when you go into convincing mode. I talk about this in my free report on my website, 3 keys to attract the man you want. One of the things is, one of the keys is stop going into convincing mode. And just like the first thing here, it can be easy to do this when you really like a guy. You can get this sense where you want to try to prove yourself to him or show him what a great catch you are or what a great wife or girlfriend you would be. And you really want to catch yourself when you start to do that, because convincing mode is masculine energy behavior. And so you really want to lean back and allow the man to show you what he's got, right? He wants to convince you to commit to him, not the other way around. So anytime you catch yourself trying to demonstrate your value by telling a man about what a high value woman you are or what a great partner you would be, anything that looks like convincing, you really want to catch that and start to turn it around. The fourth thing that kills a man's feelings of attraction and connection with a woman is when she's always initiating conversations about the relationship. I talk about this a lot in my program, The Art of Getting the Commitment You Want. And I know it can be really tempting to bring up these conversations constantly about, where the relationship's going, or what his feelings are for you, where you stand with him. And of course, it's fine to talk about the relationship sometimes, but when you're always using the time you have with a man to talk about the relationship constantly, it automatically forces him into this like distancer role or resistor role. If you've ever done this, I know that you've probably experienced this. I certainly have, where he just wants to back up and create some more space between the two of you. It's a really common thing that happens. So as much as you can, see where you can create good feeling moments with a man, rather than having to talk about the relationship endlessly. Try just creating the relationship and see if that gets him to start bringing up the future more and talking more about the relationship. It should be not always initiated by you. Very, very important thing to keep in mind. So the fifth thing that kills the attraction and connection with a man is competing with him. Even on a very subtle level, this is one of the number one things I used to do. Oh my gosh, all the time. I didn't even realize I was doing it, where a man would say that he went on vacation somewhere and I'd want to jump right in and go, oh, well, I went on vacation here. Or if a man tells you that he did something ran a marathon, and then you want to jump in and say, oh, I ran 3 marathons this year. And it doesn't come from a bad place. You're just wanting to connect with him and have things in common and things like that. But a man can start to feel like you're trying to one-up him always, or go toe-to-toe with him. It's also masculine competitive behavior. So as much as you can, let a man, tell his story to you, no matter where you're at in your relationship, without feeling the need to just jump in and interrupt him, especially, and compete with him on this subtle level. That will go a long way in building the attraction and connection with a man. A lot of times when a man's interested in a woman, he'll want to kind of list off everything he can do, almost like he's, telling you his resume in a lot of ways. And it can be tempting to want to just jump right in there and do the same thing to him. But you don't want to do that. You want to lean back and let him open up, let him talk about himself, and then you can respond after that. But it's actually more impressive when he finds out some of these things about you in an organic way, rather than going toe-to-toe with him in a masculine competitive way. Really important. The sixth thing that women do that unknowingly turn a man off and kill his attraction and connection is giving him unsolicited advice always, or telling him what he should be doing. This one is one of those things that's really easy to slip into, and we think we're just being helpful. Especially those of you, if you're like me, my background's in psychology and education, so I have this urge to want to help people and give advice and suggestions, and it's kind of detrimental to the relationship with a man. You really want to show him that you trust him to be able to handle his life on his own and decisions for the two of you within the relationship as much as you can. See where you're giving him unsolicited suggestions and advice constantly. Now, of course, if a man asks you for your opinion or your advice, it's totally fine to do it. But it's when you're constantly kind of telling him what to do on a subtle level can really kill the feelings of attraction and connection with him. And that brings me to the seventh thing that unknowingly turns a man off, and that is when you're always pushing your agenda on him. And this is something I see all the time in clients, and I've certainly been there myself. I know we all have. When you're kind of trying to, on a subtle level, sort of push a guy or nudge him in a certain direction without just coming right out and being straightforward. And this can play out in all different kinds of ways. One thing I have my clients ask themselves if they're questioning whether or not they're doing this is, what am I hoping will happen? You can ask yourself this before saying or doing anything with a man. What am I hoping will happen? And if you can answer that strongly, well, I'm really hoping he'll move the relationship forward, or I'm hoping he'll see how wonderful I am and want to commit to me, or ask me out for the weekend, or take me to this restaurant, or go on a trip with me, anything like that, it's a big sign that you might have an agenda. And you just want to catch that, because if you're saying something to a man on one level, but there's this undercurrent of trying to get him to do something, it can really push a man away on a deep level. He just gets this sense of like, oh, she wants something from me, that I'm not just at a place where I'm freely giving her that right now. Men, for the most part, really, they appreciate direct, straightforward communication. They don't like feeling like you're trying to like make him do something on this subtle level. It's really important. I could probably do a whole nother video just on that, because it's a really common thing that happens. Just like you wouldn't want a man to be trying to, get you to do something that you're not ready for right now. A lot of these go both ways. So that's what I have for today, and I'd love to hear from you now. What are some things that a man does that kills your feelings of attraction and connection with him? It's such an important thing to become aware of on both sides, because like I mentioned, a lot of these are really subtle and often unintentional, or you might even have good intentions, you just don't realize some of these things that are actually turning a man off. So I hope this was helpful for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you've made some of these mistakes and you're looking to turn things around, or if you just want to attract a high quality man into a lasting committed relationship, check out my 3 keys to attract the man you want report and audio training. It's totally free on my website, helenahartcoaching.com. I'll post a link to that in the description right below this video. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next time.